welcome back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we are going to be diving in depth with the new Hot Wheels expansion and why I think it is one of the best possible expansions they could have gone with. And yes, I know that's a slightly controversial statement, but allow me to explain why in the rest of the video. Now, since this trailer for the Horizon 5 Hot Wheels expansion was released, a lot of people have been putting their feelings and opinions out there. Now, some people, like myself, have been extremely excited to see the Hot Wheels nameplate being brought forward into Horizon 5. Now, Hot Wheels was my personal favorite expansion that they've ever made for the Horizon series, and I've missed it dearly ever since the last one. Now, also, as I watched this trailer for the first time, I was absolutely enamored with the fact that the Diora 2 was featured in the trailer. Now, obviously that's not the only new car that they're going to be adding in the Horizon 5 Hot Wheels expansion, but it definitely gave me Hot Wheels World Race vibes right off the bat. Now, some of you may know Hot Wheels World Race, some of you may not. But personally, Hot Wheels World Race was a massive part of my personal childhood, and I cannot wait to drive the Diora 2 here in Horizon 5 when the update drops on July 19th. Now, let me tell you, when they kicked off this trailer, they absolutely kicked it off with a bang with this Hot Wheels Edition Copo Camaro doing a wheelie on one of the track surfaces. This is probably the best way that they could have kicked off this trailer, and not only that, but what better way to do it than with such a fan favorite as the Copo Camaro? I certainly don't think they could have picked a better car to kick off this trailer with. Now let's switch gears and talk about the map itself. Now, it's pretty clear that this expansion is going to take place on a separate map, hence the massive cliffs and all of the tracks winding throughout them. Now, the map in Horizon 3's Hot Wheels expansion also took place in a different area, so I'm not surprised that they're going back to that format here. I'm not sure what they're going to call it yet, but it'll definitely be interesting to find out. And I do want to address real quick that I've kind of been seeing throughout the Forza community. I've been seeing some people that are super excited about it, and then other people that are kind of like, oh my god, this is just like a recycle of what it was in Horizon 3. And personally for me, while yes, they are revisiting Hot Wheels, I'm happy to see them revisiting Hot Wheels because obviously the map and the track layout is going to be completely new, and you'll be able to experience it with all of the new functionality that you have in Horizon 5 that you didn't have back in Horizon 3. So I don't really think it's recycled at all. And now we get our first look at my favorite car in the entire trailer. Now, I gotta tell you, when I first watched this trailer, my eyes went right past the other two cars and went straight to the Diora 2. Now, ever since I was super young, the Diora 2 has and basically always has been my favorite Hot Wheels car of all time, and so the amount of nostalgia that I'm getting out of this trailer right now is absolutely enormous. And I will also definitely credit some of that nostalgia and some of my love for this car to World Race, because I was super into not only just collecting Hot Wheels in general, but I was super into the World Race movie way back when that first came out. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, check it out, watch it. It is an absolute classic in the Hot Wheels space. Now, another thing that I really noticed, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below if you noticed this as well, but in comparison to the first Hot Wheels expansion that we experienced in a Forza Horizon game, this one seems to have a lot more tracks that interconnect with each other and cross over and under each other, and the density of the tracks seems to be a lot higher, and I think that that's going to make for a lot more of a really believable feeling Hot Wheels experience. And of course, as we dive deeper into the later sections of the trailer, you'll see more and more things like loops that wind around existing tracks, and I think really bring even more new dimensions to the Hot Wheels Forza formula. And my previous statement becomes even more relevant when you take a look at this shot right here. This is probably one of my favorite shots from the entire trailer, especially from a map and environment perspective, because it really gives you an idea of the scale that you're working with. I mean, you're already seeing, what, like 5 loops, if not more, in this photo, and of course there's going to be a ton more around the map. But I think that the environment type that they chose actually really suits the idea of having Hot Wheels tracks winding around it and winding through it really, really well. Also, side note, we gotta touch on this thing for a minute because this thing is absolutely incredible. I have a feeling that this thing is gonna offer way more performance potential than its looks would lead you to believe. And the waterfalls, oh my god, the amount of waterfalls. They really decided we're gonna put waterfalls absolutely everywhere on this map, and then they turned it up like past 11. But I gotta tell you, dude, it actually really not only works really well, but I think it just adds to the beauty of that overall environment that you're gonna be ripping through at 200 plus miles an hour. But again, that's what Horizon is all about, being able to rip through gorgeous environments at 200 plus miles an hour. And then Hot Wheels just turns that up even more notches. Now, if you look a little bit closer in this shot at the blue section of track on the right side of the screen, you can see that there is almost it's like a turn board, basically a turn board with like turn signs above it, kind of indicating that while you may be in a race, obviously certain sections of the tracks are going to be blocked off, but I'm sure that when you're just free roaming around, those sections will be open. Now, I believe that that is something that the previous Hot Wheels expansion did as well, but it's just interesting to see that this was like, if you look at the way that this gameplay was recorded, it's like, oh, that was during a race. It's just kind of neat. And of course, it can't be a Forza Horizon expansion without featuring some level of winter gameplay, and they definitely do that right here. Now, the winter, as well as what I'm about to show you in a moment, which is the lava, where I'm assuming the track goes through an active volcano, both give me mad Hot Wheels World Race and Hot Wheels Acceleracers vibes, because if you remember from, say, for example, Hot Wheels Acceleracers, you were dealing with different racing realms, like, for example, there was literally, I think it was called a lava realm, and when I watched this trailer, my mind kept going back to World Race and Acceleracers over and over and over again. And you have to imagine that they used some of that as inspiration for these different aspects of the expansion. I mean, you've got to imagine, right? Now, in this shot, we get a little bit of a closer look at an odd but really interesting car, and that is the Brabham BT62. Really interesting track car slash race car with this one, but I think it's going to actually fit into the Hot Wheels framework really, really well, and it's definitely a car that I cannot wait to get my hands on and drive. Ah yes, our favorite, magnetic tracks. Now, whether or not you are a fan of magnetic tracks, the magnetic track sections are definitely going to be on display in a big way in this expansion, and I'm all for it. I'm okay with it. You know, I know some people are like, oh, I don't like the magnetic tracks. It's just a silly concept in general, but then again, at the same time, I mean, there were, if you look back at, say, World Race, there were sections of track that would literally suck the car down and hold it to the track through a section where it otherwise would have just flown off. Same in Acceleracers when you would use like an Accelecharger, for example. And so I think, again, there are all these weird little nods to both of those franchises, you know, from previous years that I can't help but not think about here. Now, of course, there is an off-road component to this, as there are many off-road vehicles in the Forza Horizon ecosystem at this point, so it would be kind of crazy to think that there wouldn't be some element of off-roading in the Hot Wheels expansion. But the interesting thing about this is that we see a bunch of vehicles, you know, cruising through the outdoor landscape, and then you literally see them in the next shot jumping down onto a track. So are there going to be cross-country races where some of the race is off-road and then you take a jump and wind up on a section of track? I don't know, but if that does end up becoming the case, that's going to be a very interesting thing to have to set up and tune cars for, because a little bit of the race is literally going to be in the rocks and in the sand, and then another section of the race is going to literally be on a Hot Wheels track. And I'm trying to wrap my head around how you would tune for that, but I think we're going to have to just wait and see and mess with our cars and see what works best once the update drops. Checking in once again with the Wacky Wing Zenvo, and yes, I'm calling it the Wacky Wing Zenvo because the wing literally goes from side to side, but we're heading into a section of magnetic track here, and the more I see the magnetic track, the more I'm like, okay, they're going to probably have a lot of sections in this map that are going to be magnetic track, but again, I'm okay with it at the end of the day. As long as the whole map is not magnetic track, I'm fine with it. And then nearing the end of the trailer, they show us this central hub where I'm sure the Horizon Festival is going to be located. So if you want to go back to the festival and maybe buy a new car or, modify your own car, visit the paint shop, anything like that. But it also gives you just an area to kind of congregate with other players. And I think it's actually a really well done space. It's very open. It's very it just allows you to dart off into whatever side of the map that you want. So you can get a bunch of players together right here in this central space, get some photos, do donuts around each other's cars, and then say okay, well, I'm gonna head off towards the volcano section, and just bam, you're gone. And once you learn the map, I'm sure you'll have an idea of which path goes where. And last but certainly not least, we are going to be closing out this video with my favorite shot from the trailer, which is the Diora 2 running side by side with the Twin Mill, heading in between a bunch of loops. This, in my opinion, really encapsulates everything that a Hot Wheels expansion truly means, and that is wild track sections, incredible cars, and just a fun time all around. Now, if you guys have any other thoughts or opinions about the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels expansion, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and if you would like to see gameplay of the Hot Wheels expansion immediately when it drops, make sure you are subscribed and have those notifications turned on. That's gonna do it for this one though, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.